Welcome to back my YouTube channel. Seattle was showing off that night. The kind of sunset that makes the glass walls of the Haven look like molten gold. The kind that makes you believe life could actually be beautiful again. My friends were mid-laughter. The waiter was lighting the sparkler on my dessert, and for one blissful moment, I let myself feel safe. 30 years old. A fresh start. No drama. Then she stood. My sister, Olivia, wearing a dress just tight enough to reveal what she clearly wanted the world to see. Her hand slid slowly, deliberately over the curve of her stomach. The room reacted before I did. Voices dropped. Chairs creaked. Someone whispered, "Is she?" She didn't wait for permission. "She never has. I just can't keep it in any longer," she declared, loud enough for the entire restaurant to hear. "I'm pregnant." A couple gasped in delight. Someone clapped. She waited for me to smile, ask who the lucky father was, play the part of the supportive sister. Instead, she delivered the kill shot. "It's Ryan's." It wasn't just a statement, it was a performance. She stood taller, chin tilted like a queen announcing her coronation, like she had just been crowned the winner of my life. Every eye turned to me. The air thickened. Even the waiter froze, still holding my plate mid-air, like a statue caught between celebration and disaster. I could feel the weight of their expectations pressing against my skin. They wanted tears, rage, a breakdown. They wanted to watch my heart crack in real time, like it was entertainment. Even Olivia leaned forward slightly, practically salivating for my reaction, hoping to see her reflection in my ruin. But the funny thing about people who set traps is, they always assume you're walking in blind. I didn't blink. I didn't flinch. I lifted my wine glass, steady as a marble statue, and took a slow, unbothered sip. Let them stare. Let them choke on their own anticipation, because they thought this moment was designed to destroy me. They had no idea. It was already too late for them. They expected an explosion, a scream, a shattered glass, and a storm of accusations. But I gave them silence. Not the kind that trembles with hurt, but the kind that frightens. The kind that makes people question if maybe they miscalculated. My stillness unnerved them more than any outrage could have. Olivia shifted, her confident posture faltering just slightly. Her smile twitched. She wasn't prepared for this version of me, the one she couldn't provoke. Ryan, sitting 2 seats down, tried to look anywhere but at me. His hand tightened around his glass, like it was the only thing anchoring him to reality. He knew, he remembered, because a month before this little theatrical reveal, he had shown up at my door, broken, panicked, and drenched in regret. He didn't even bother denying it when I asked if he had slept with her. His guilt answered before his mouth did. He begged, actually dropped to his knees like some tragic movie scene, swearing it was a mistake, that she manipulated him, that he still loved me. I didn't shout. I didn't cry. I simply told him to come inside and sign a document, a legally binding agreement stating that if he ever betrayed me again, or chose to pursue someone within my immediate family, he would forfeit all rights to any future claims involving me or any child tied to that betrayal. No custody, no financial appeal, no legal standing. He didn't even read it properly, just scribbled his signature like a fool, desperate for redemption. And now here he sat, next to the woman who thought she'd won, completely, unaware that she was carrying a child with a father who legally didn't exist. So I sipped my wine again, letting the silence thicken, like honey turned to tar, letting them stew in confusion. Because pain makes noise, but power is quiet. The only person in the room who truly understood what my silence meant was Ryan. I could feel his panic from across the table, even though he tried to mask it with indifference. His leg bounced beneath the tablecloth. His jaw tightened. His fingers, was still clamped around his glass, like it was the last thing tethering him to safety. He knew what was coming. Olivia didn't. She stood there in her delusion, soaking up imaginary applause, expecting me to collapse into humiliation. She mistook attention for validation, mistook silence for surrender. She had spent her whole life competing with me in games I never agreed to play. If I bought a dress, she bought it in a different color. If I started a hobby, she suddenly had a passion for it too. If I succeeded quietly, she failed loudly and made sure everyone knew. And when I fell in love with Ryan, she didn't just envy it, she wanted it. Wanted to possess it, even if it meant stealing it. But what she never understood was this. You can take something from someone, but that doesn't mean it's yours to keep. She got the man, but she had no idea she'd inherited his consequences. The servers stood frozen at the edges of the room, unsure whether to keep serving or retreat. Guests exchanged nervous glances, wondering if they should intervene or keep watching like it was a live soap opera. I set my glass down with calm precision, the soft click against the table sounding louder than her entire announcement. She straightened, lifting her chin, waiting, still so sure that this was her defining moment. I finally met her eyes, not with anger, not with tears, but with something far more devastating, amusement. Her bravado flickered the moment she saw it, the slight upward curl at the corner of my mouth. A smile, not of kindness, but of someone who already knew the ending to a story everyone else thought was just beginning. She blinked, confusion slicing through her confidence. "What?" she asked, her tone no longer triumphant, but defensive. A single crack in her performance. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. Instead, I reached into my clutch and pulled out a crisp, neatly folded document. I didn't unfold it. I didn't wave it around dramatically. I simply placed it on the table in front of me, like a final chess move. Ryan's face drained of all color. His eyes locked onto that paper like it was a ticking bomb. Because for him, it was. Olivia glanced at it, still clueless. "What is that?" she scoffed, as if mocking me would restore her upper hand. I tilted my head slightly, studying her the way a surgeon examines a tumor before removing it. "You should probably ask him," I said lightly, nodding toward Ryan. He signed it. Her head snapped toward him. "Signed what?" Ryan didn't answer. His throat bobbed as he swallowed hard, eyes darting between the paper and her face. His silence told a louder truth than any confession could. Her voice sharpened. "Ryan, what did you sign?" I leaned back in my chair and watched the unravelings. She thought she had delivered the scandal of the night. She thought she had detonated the bomb. But she was only now realizing she had been standing on the wrong side of it. The entire table held its breath. Olivia's hand was still resting protectively over her stomach, but now it looked less like pride and more like fear. She took a step back from Ryan, as if distance might shield her from what she didn't yet understand. Ryan finally opened his mouth, but no words came out, just a strained exhale. He couldn't admit it, not in front of everyone, not with all those eyes digging into him like knives. So I did it for him. He signed away any future paternal rights, I said simply, as if announcing my drink order. To any child conceived through betrayal, no shouting, no theatrics, just truth delivered like a verdict. Gasps rippled around the table. Ryan's shoulders sagged. Olivia's expression shattered. I could see the exact moment she understood. She hadn't just claimed a man. She had claimed liability. Her lips parted, trembling. You can't do that. That's not legal," I shrugged. It was witnessed, notarized, and filed. Her gaze snapped back to Ryan, eyes blazing. "You knew. You let me." Her voice cracked. She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't need to, because in that moment, she finally realized she hadn't trapped me. She had trapped herself, and I didn't need to stay and watch the collapse. My revenge was already complete, sitting quietly on the linen tablecloth, between the wine glasses and shattered egos. I stood up slowly, smoothing the fabric of my dress like I was simply excusing myself to the restroom, not detonating the final charge in their collapsing empire. No one spoke. No one dared. Even the restaurant staff had stopped pretending not to listen. I picked up my clutch, glanced once more at the wreckage before me, my sister trembling in disbelief, Ryan staring at the floor like a guilty schoolboy, and I felt something I never expected to feel in the aftermath of betrayal. Not pain, not spite, freedom. I looked directly at Olivia. "You wanted my life," I said calmly. "You can have it, all the parts you thought were shiny and perfect. But remember, you took them without knowing the price." Her eyes glistened with panic. I turned to leave. No dramatic exit, no final insult, just the sound of my heels, clicking softly against marble as I walked toward the elevator. Each step, a quiet declaration. I am not the broken one. I am the one who got away. Behind me, voices finally erupted. Questions, accusations, chaos. But I didn't turn back. As the elevator doors closed, I caught my reflection in the gold trim, steady, composed, unrecognizable in the best possible way. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't someone's girlfriend. I wasn't someone's sister. I was me, and they could keep each other. I had something better, peace.